Summer 2021 saw no shortage of natural disasters. From Hurricane Ida,
gust and say sustained in that tropical storm,
and Oregon's bootleg fire,
nearly 1,100 acres burning per hour,
to the deadly heat wave in the Pacific Northwest.
It's the hottest temperature in the world so far this year.
In fact, new research from the Washington Post shows nearly 1 in 3 Americans experienced weather disasters this summer. That got us wondering, what are the most dangerous states for severe weather? In other words, when the big one hits, where don't you want to be? We enlisted the help of meteorologist Sven Sundgaard for the top 5 most dangerous states when it comes to severe weather. For the past 18 years, he's covered more than his fair share of catastrophic events. Let's start in the Gulf Coast with Louisiana.
Like in Louisiana, they can get flooding in the winter and the summer and the spring. And some years it goes all year long. And in particular years like this year, where they're 1 to 2 feet above normal for rainfall in some spots, you get a tropical storm or a major hurricane that dumps 1 to 2 feet of rain. There's nowhere for it to go. So you already have a flat place that is prone to flooding because of just its geography and geology. But now you have a particularly wet year, and in the peak of hurricane season, it can really be a major disaster.
Further down the coast, Florida sticks out like a dartboard for hurricanes. Sven's words, not mine.
A lot of coastal Florida has its major cities, and any one of those is prone to a hurricane and similar things. Sea level rise, which makes those storm surges worse, and then flooding issues because of rain. Florida is a wet place. The reason it's green and you got palm trees is because it gets a lot of rain and sunshine, and they get thunderstorms every day of the year in Florida, whereas most of us have a season. So Florida actually beats out some places as far as the number of tornadoes because they just have more potential thunderstorm days.
Ever heard that everything's bigger in Texas? That applies to weather damage too.
Texas is just opening itself to, when you're making a list like this, to being in it just because it gets all the extremes. So you get those tropical systems, which we've already gone over, are a problem because of coastal sea level rise, storm surges, more powerful hurricanes. And the thing about Harvey wasn't the wind, it was the flooding rains and nowhere for that water to go because Houston, again, a flat coastal area. But also Texas gets winter weather sometimes. We saw February this year, that extreme cold outbreak that hit Texas, and it's just not set up for all these extremes. The whole infrastructure, the power grid, the resources to help people.
Year-round extremes extend to their northern neighbors. Tornado Alley, anyone?
Oklahoma is one of the tornado capitals of really the world. We hear about suburbs of Oklahoma that get really leveled by some of these major tornadic cells. And so the combination of a major urban area that's really in prime pathways of where tornadoes develop makes it a particularly risky state. But then also it gets a lot of extreme weather. Similar to Kansas, hot, dry summers, crazy cold winters. They can get blizzards in Oklahoma City, but even more extreme. And Oklahoma has earthquake activity too that people don't realize. Partly fracking, but there is also some faults that go through there.
And speaking of earthquakes, here's the shakedown on why California is so dangerous.
Earthquakes, God forbid you want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. California, obviously, we think earthquakes right away, and that also means tsunamis. If there's anything that happens in the Pacific, they frequently get tsunami warnings. But the big thing with California is that fire season. The fire season is worse, the drought is worse, so just daily life will only get worse in the future because water is being stretched. We have Los Angeles and San Diego, lovely places, but millions of people should not be living in a place like that because there's just not enough water resources.
Sven warns the dangerous weather in these states are only expected to become more extreme as the years go on. What other places should be included in the list of dangerous states? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.